Hello, once again, thank you for joining me on the gaming channel. I want to share some exciting news with you about an adaptation project that I've been working on. We're going to get very nostalgic now, and we're going to go back to 1984. Some of you may know the Choose Your Own Adventure style fighting fantasy books by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. That's a different Steve Jackson, by the way, to the one that does Steve Jackson games, like Munchkin and all of that, even though that's another Steve Jackson gamer. So we're talking about like the founders of Games Workshop people here. This, by Steve Jackson, is the first book where they broke the mould of the strictly solo play Choose Your Own Adventure stuff. They made an actual book for you to GM for a group. Extraordinary. Now, as I say, 1984, this is my copy of it. There are two adventures in here, The Wishing Well and Shagrad's Hides of Peril. My copy is quite old and busted up. This is a puffin book, as you can see by the little label here. The back page is gone. That got chewed off by a dog, so that was nice. And it's definitely seen better days, my copy, but I'm not going to be trying to get rid of it anyway. This is my little piece of nostalgia. Now, the layout of these books is really nice. The way they use the combat system is obviously the standard fighting fantasy skill, stamina, luck, and some of the other books that continue doing this with the theme, they made more advanced rules as well and started bringing in spells and things like that. And I'll probably get to those soon, but for this, you can actually see the adventure sheet here for the encounter book. You can see how it was set up, and they've got the old stat there of gold, just gold. It's a very basic world, in a world called Titan. So obviously when you're going to come along and try and adapt something like this to one of your systems, it's going to take a fair bit of work. So obviously I don't have a lot of time on my hands, I've got a lot of other things I have to do. But I really did want to run it because there's something beautiful and nostalgic about it, and my group has quite a number of gamers in it as well that are older than me and that will really appreciate the nostalgia of that. But yeah, what's really nice about it is, each thing is a little page entry. So you can see here, every page you come to has a supported picture, and I mean every page. So this is entry number 1, and on every page you actually have a mini version of the map as well, accompanying the thing. Next page, same thing again, picture thing, the little map there again. Can't see it too well, but it's there. So, and that's all got the numbers listed on it as well. So it matches up to the numbers in this. So basically, you tell them where they're walking on the map, and then each room is numbered, and then you know to go to the next number entry in the book. So what I've done is I've taken this first one, The Wishing Well, which is only mini, and I've applied it into Dragon Age. That's the project. So I've come along with an A4 notebook and started writing it all up. What I've got now is a notebook full of entries that are more sort of notes than anything else. Some of the adaptation methods I've used. So I haven't rewritten everything from this and completely put it in this. You won't be able to use these pages unless you own a copy of this. I'm actually going to put links to this one in the crotch bar below, so check it out. You'll be able to see it for yourself, or you might be able to find it on eBay or wherever as well. So one of the necessary things to take into account for me adapting it into Dragon Age, as I was the problem that Dragon Age isn't as high fantasy as this. So this has got a lot of unusual elements in it. Now, there's going to be spoilers in here, alright? So if you're going to be a player, I'd advise maybe not watching the rest of this, but if you're going to be a GM, then stick with me, because this is all part of the planning procedure if you fancy doing it too. And I'm going to make my notes available to you. What I'm going to do is everything I've written here. I've got stats. I've basically the little things that come with Dragon Age, the little supported NPC things. I've got those printed out, glued them in, and just wrote the little stats in and different things. So everything I've got here, it assumes that you've got the book and you've read everything on the supporting page. What I've just put here is just extra notes, or saying, no, we aren't using that and we're doing this instead. And you see that I've made the entries sync up, like 2, 3, and I've put a possible stat line in case it goes to combat. 4, information about that. In the top corner there, 5, because there's not really anything to happen. 6, 7 down here, and another stat block, and so on. There's not a lot of information. You have to use the two together. Okay, this is a add-on, and I haven't actually wrote it in a way to make it available to the public, as in like the most ideal way for you to be able to comprehend it, because it's more for notes for personal use, right? So I didn't like cotton onto the idea of making it available for the public, and I really wanted it for personal use. However, I am going to be making this available for you, as long as you bear that in mind when you look at it. It hasn't been written specifically for you; it's been written for me to understand. But you will get the gist of it if you look at it there. Experienced GMs of Dragon Age will understand what I'm getting at, the kind of tests that I'm calling for, and of course, you adapt it further if you want. So here's what's going to be happening. We're going to be running this thing as a mini Dragon Age adventure. We're going to start with the Wishing Well first. Shagrad's Hives is quite a lot longer. There's a lot of other concepts in there that I don't think quite match Tier 1. So I'm going to send them at this one as a Tier 1 adventure, the Wishing Well. There's quite a lot of adaptations to make. Just as an example of what I'm on about, the room that's got the mummy in, well, that's not going to swing, is it? And I could have put something else in there, like a Revenant or something like that, but these things that tend to be a much higher tier, and because I'm aiming this for the Tier 1 thing, which is really suitable really because it's shorter, I've swapped it out for a ghost, and I've come up with a special stunt, achievable stunt points for it, so that mundane weaponry can attempt to try and damage it too. In this sense, even if you've already played this book, by playing through it again, you'll be able to play it as a sort of 2.0, I suppose. And there's a couple of our group that have actually run this book before, so they're actually really looking forward to seeing the kind of changes I've made. They're jumping up and down with excitement over it, quite frankly. So look out for that. I'll have all of these notes from the book scanned, all as a project together online. Probably make them available at my blog, so it's a good idea to get over there and get subscribed to the blog as well. Again, links in the info bar below. And then when the time comes that I put all this information out, I'll put out a supporting video as well, and I'll give you some of my ideas and some of the ways I've had to come along and craft a bit of story onto it. Like, I've given it a theme already. That there's a dwarf party gone there, and they've an exploration party, mining team, and they've gone missing in there. So then that's given it a bit of a theme straight away. So some of the ghosts we meet will actually be dwarf-based ones more so, and bodies, and obviously one of the first NPC we actually meet is a dwarf, and so on. Right, we'll leave it there. You've got the idea of what we're up to, but until next time, I'll see you at the table.